Weganawagirono, and welcome to another episode of Straight Talk. I'm one of your hosts, Mike Stock.
Christine Taylor with you.
And Jessica Deer.
Ross is in here today. I guess at the last minute he had some other things to do, so he won't be with us today.
Scheduling conflicts.
Scheduling conflicts, so he should be on our next show. So we're going to be talking about a lot of things that are happening around the community, some immediate and some, I guess, in the future. Like usual. I mean, it's always, there's so much always going on. Some is controversial and some of it's not. But what do you think about the weather?
It's hot.
It is.
It's really, really hot. And we're going to talk a little bit later on about some safety tips on how to stay cool and why to stay cool and different things like that. But that's all I can say right now is there's, for the last, I think, 3 days, there's been a heavy heat or high heat and heavy humidity warning for our area. But not just our area, but the entire East Coast. I mean, we're hearing news reports all the way from the States and right across Canada. So, I mean, it's a hot one out there.
And it's important that you hydrate yourself and you stay cool. If you have air conditioning, alternate in and out.
Yeah, so just give yourself a break. So go like food shopping or whatever and take your time in a cool store or check out a movie or someplace that is air conditioned where you can spend a little time. I know several centers in the Montreal area as well as in Kahnawake have been opened where you can go and spend at least, I think they said like 90 minutes or something like that, just to give your body a break.
It's also probably a bad idea to just go outside to purposely tan. Like I know a lot of people my age like to do that, but it's not good for.
But tanning is no good at any time.
You know what? Nothing is good for you. I mean, yesterday.
Speaking of a guy with a tan.
Well, yesterday, I have a pool, so
right.
And I have air conditioning, so I spend most of my day outside in the pool. I jump in and cool off, and then come back out. But I think most of the day I spent in the pool, although it was I was standing up most of the time, but you do get a tan. This tan, though, is from when I was away in Florida. It was worse than this, but I like the heat, but I also, try to stay cool and hydrate as much as possible.
I mean, but for like a normal person, but for the elderly.
Trying to say I'm not regular?
I'm saying you're not old. No, you are regular. No, but I mean like for the general population, we can put up with this type of heat for an extended period of time, but it's not good for the very young and the very old, so the elderly and the babies.
And
they
medical
and those with respiratory,
and,
because there is, I think, that because of the haze that's been over the city, it's like we also feel the effects
humidity.
of that, the smog in our area because it's not moving out.
It's the humidity. So you end up with people that already have respiratory problems. It aggravates it more. So they have to.
It's important to stay cool.
But more important, I think, it is that I had watched the news last night, and I think it was in Ontario, at a daycare. A parent went to the daycare and left the kid in the car and brought one of the kids inside the daycare, and then they locked their keys in. So it took them about 10 minutes to finally, they broke the window, but the baby already started to dehydrate a bit.
Right.
So that. It's not only illegal, but you shouldn't do that at all. I know that was a big controversy on Facebook a week or so ago in regards to what's acceptable and what's not acceptable about leaving your child in a car, running into
like a grocery store.
Running into the grocery store and stuff, and there was so much talk about what was acceptable and what wasn't acceptable, and in heat like this, it's never acceptable. There are age, of children where you shouldn't do that ever, because
I mean they're alone in a car.
Yeah. Even though you're walking.
It doesn't really matter. It's just a lot of it is just common sense. I mean, like even though the child is small, and even if the car is air conditioned or whatever, and you lock the doors, it's still not a good idea.
It shouldn't not in this heat, and I'll emphasize that so much that nobody should leave their kids in a car.
People do that with pets too, and it's still
Yeah.
a bad idea if you care about your pet.
Even leaving the window open a little bit, it doesn't change anything. Because the temperature goes to 20, 30 degrees more than it is outside, inside.
Very
And it-
quickly.
And it doesn't take that much for heat stroke and in children to go into, you know, unconsciousness and seizures and convulsions and, you know, and like I said, it's illegal. If something ever happened to the child or somebody made a complaint, they can actually take your child away from you for negligence. So, and that can happen here. So it's important. And if anybody's child has ever gotten locked in a car, break the window right away. The hell with the cost of the window.
Yeah.
You know, don't wait for somebody to go. "Oh, it's only going to be a few minutes to get the keys."
But
It's
it
not
only takes a
acceptable.
few minutes.
Exactly.
For them to, because babies are small and their systems are small. They don't have the skin surface that larger kids and or adults, you know, have. So processes to cool themselves down, they don't have that ability just yet. So it takes them a lot less time to cause like permanent damage.
And if you have to break a window, hit it in the corner, never in the middle, because they're tempered glass and they're safety glass, and it'll take too much. In the corners, they break easier.
Okay.
But on the weather anyway, stay cool as much as possible and hydrate and
Hydrate.
hats. One of the most important things is to wear something to cover you. You know,
With the sun, there's a couple of different issues. One of the issues is with the sun, you can get a sunburn or you can get sunstroke. There's also heat exhaustion and heat stroke. There's a lot of there's differences there where, and then you can get dehydrated, which is not necessarily either of those two, but can be related as well.
but even if there's no sun and it's just humid, even if it's not today, you should always wear something to protect. You know, with the you know, sunscreen for children. They recommend
To cover up in a light
over-
fabric.
You can
And-
even
and-
get sunburn when it's overcast.
Yeah, so, you know, over 30, you know, on the sunscreen and stuff like that. Mine, I think my kids, I have the 50. I put as much as I can, you know, and it's still sometimes.
Apply, and it's supposed to apply at least 20 minutes before they actually head out, for it to take full effect.
I don't do
You
that,
know,
but you're supposed to.
supposed to. No, I'm just saying
Yeah,
that that's.
yeah.
But also, and to reapply.
All the
Reapply
time.
if they're going to be swimming. Reapply if they're going to be sweating.
Yeah.
It's like the same situation. So just to reapply and to just, you know, wear a hat. And again, like with the kids, it might not seem like, oh, it's like so much fun, but just cover them up.
Yeah, it's too bad we don't have a community pool for people to, we'll talk about that after.
Yeah.
That, you know, people can go in. But, you know, if you have friends or family or, you know, relatives that have air conditioning in their home and you don't, you know, go and visit or go see them. Try to get out of the temperature and out of the heat. I know that they were saying, I believe it was the Elders Lodge, that if there's elders that don't have air conditioning and it's too warm in their house, they can go there, as well as, you know, some of the younger children. I don't know who else is doing it, but I know that they're doing it.
I mean, there's several public buildings too in Ganawagi that you can go to the post or to the bank and stuff like that. I'm sure you'll be able
Bring
to
your lawn chair.
sit in the lobby, have a good one. All right. Well, that's just some of the tips that we were talking about in regards to the high heat warning and heavy humidity for our area. We'll be right back with more Straight Talk.